Hello again, fourth grade, and welcome to lesson 5-2, using mental math to estimate quotients. Now remember, the quotient is the answer when we're doing a division problem. So we're going to use mental math strategies that we've learned in the past to help us estimate our answer. Let's go ahead and take a look at our short video lesson before we get started with our notes and guided practice.
How can you estimate quotients to solve problems? Max wants to make 9 rubber band balls, using about the same number of rubber bands for each ball. He bought a jar of 700 rubber bands. Estimate to find about how many rubber bands Max can use for each ball. What operation do you use to find about how many rubber bands Max can use to make each rubber band ball?
Select your answer.
So since we know our total was 700 and he wants to put them into equal groups to figure out how many rubber band balls he can make, we're going to be dividing into those equal groups.
Use division to find about how many rubber bands Max can use for each ball. Max does not need to know the exact number of rubber bands to use for each ball. An estimate is all that is needed. Estimate 700 divided by 9. One way to estimate a quotient is to use compatible numbers. Remember that there is often more than one choice of compatible numbers. What number close to 700 is easily divided by 9? Try multiples of 10 near 700. 710 is not easily divided by 9. 720 is 72 tens and can be divided by 9. 720 divided by 9 equals 80. Max can use about 80 rubber bands for each ball. 720 is greater than 700. So, is 720 divided by 9 greater than or less than 700 divided by 9?
Select your answer.
Seven 720 divided by 9 is greater than 700 divided by 9. So, 80 rubber bands is an overestimate.
Remember that Max needs just an estimate.
Another way to estimate a quotient is to use multiplication. 9 times what number is about 700? Think about basic multiplication facts. 9 times 8 equals 72. So 9 times 80 equals 720. 700 divided by 9 is about 80. Max can use about 80 rubber bands for each ball. Now you know how to estimate quotients to solve problems.
All right, let's go ahead and jump into our notes and our guided practice together. Now we have our title at the top. This says 5-2, estimate quotients. What strategies can you use to estimate quotients? Remember, division and multiplication are related. So many of the same strategies that we use to estimate our products when we multiplied can be used to estimate our quotients when we divide. Some of those strategies include rounding. So you round your number to make it easier for you to solve. You can use compatible numbers. Remember, compatible numbers do not have to follow rounding rules. You can pick any number that's close to the original numbers. That makes it easy for you to complete the problem using mental math. You can use your multiplication facts. Any known facts that you have to help you find an estimate can also be flipped around, because remember, multiplication and division are inverses of each other. So you can find the inverse to help you solve that problem. Now, like the example that we were talking about just now in our short lesson video, we had 700 divided by 9. I can round that 9 to a 10 and do 700 divided by 10 is 70. I could use compatible numbers and change that 700 to 720 and then divide 720 by 9, which will give me 80. Or I can use my known multiplication facts and I can say 9 times 8 is 72. So 9 times 80 is 720. So you have a lot of different strategies that we've already talked about in the past that you can use to help you solve. Let's get into our guided practice questions together. Now, I wrote out the questions and annotated them the way I expect you guys to annotate them, the way we've talked about in class, to help you solve and see the numbers that you're using more clearly. Max wants to make 9 rubber band balls using 80 bands each from his package of 700. Will Max be able to make more or fewer balls than he wanted? So for this section, what I did was I annotated my questions. I circled the 9 rubber band balls. I circled 80 bands in each, and I circled his package of 700. So remember, we circle our numbers and the important information. We underline what we're being asked. Will Max be able to make more or fewer balls than he wanted? So if we know 9 times 80, we have to solve 9 times 80. So I use my basic fact. I know 9 times 8 is 72. So 9 times 80 is 720. He will need at least 720 rubber bands to make 9 balls, which means he will make fewer than what he wanted to make because he doesn't have 720, he only has 700. For number 2, Max decided to use 700 rubber bands to make 8 balls. Is it reasonable to say he would use about 90 rubber bands to make each ball? Explain. So I circled the 700 rubber bands, the 8 balls, the about 90 rubber bands for each ball, and I underlined the question, is it reasonable to say that he would use about 90 rubber bands to make each ball? Explain. Yes, it is reasonable because 700 is close to 720. So 720 divided by 8 equals 90 rubber bands per ball. So over here, they're asking, is it reasonable? Is this a reasonable estimate? Since 700 and 720 are close to each other, it is a reasonable estimate. Now for the next set of questions that you have, they're asking you to solve either using compatible numbers or using multiplication facts to help you solve each question. 48 divided by 5. So I can say 5 times 10 is equal to 50, and 50 is close to 48. So 48 divided by 5 is about 10. For 235 divided by 8, I'm going to use compatible numbers. I'm going to change the 235 to 240 and say 240 divided by 8 is 30. So 235 divided by 8 is about 30. 547 divided by 6. So I changed the 547 to 540 because I know 54 is a multiple of 6. So 540 divided by 6 is 90. 547 divided by 6 is about 90. It's close to it. So when we say about how much, we're talking about an estimate. For number 6, 192 divided by 5. So I use my multiplication facts. I know 5 times 40 is 200, and 200 is close to 192. So 192 divided by 5 is about 40. For 662 divided by 8, I changed that 662 to 640 because I know 64 is a multiple of 8. I know 8 times 8 is 64. So 64 divided by 8 is going to equal 80. That means 662 divided by 8 is about 80. It's close to it. For our next problem, number 8, 362 divided by 3. So I'm going to change that 362 to 360 and do 360 divided by 3. I know 36 divided by 3 is equal to 12. So 360 divided by 3 is equal to 120. For number 9, 41 divided by 2, I'm going to round that 41 down to a 40 and do 40 divided by 2. 40 divided by 2 is 20 because 2 times 20 is equal to 40. So 41 divided by 2 is about 20. And our last one, 211 divided by 4. I'm going to change that 211 to 200 using compatible numbers and do 200 divided by 4. And that's going to give me an answer of 50. So 211 divided by 4 is about 50. So these are strategies that we've learned in previous chapters and previous lessons. We're just applying them in a different way now. If you have any questions, let me know. Otherwise, take care. Bye-bye.